So, here we go. I'm gonna do chapter 2 and probably 3 since the chapters in this are so short. Here we go. This one's called Fakin' and Eggs, chapter 2. Another illustration for the chapter. Cuphead and his younger brother, Mugman, lived with Elder Kettle in a neat little cottage on the edge of Inkwell Isles. They were happy here, and Cuphead couldn't think of anywhere he'd rather live, or anyone he'd rather have as a guardian. After all, Elder Kettle was one of the kindest people on all the Isles, and nearly everyone considered him a friend. If anyone deserved a big birthday celebration, it was Elder Kettle. Cuphead could hardly wait for this evening to get here. "Good morning, Cuphead," the old Kettle chortled. "It's a lovely day, isn't it?" "It's a humdinger," Cuphead told him, but he didn't tell him anything else. Elder Kettle made a little scowl. On this of all days, he'd expect a slightly different greeting from the younger Cup. He gave a lackluster flip to Flapjack in his skillet. Elder Kettle was famous for his flapjacks, but this morning his heart wasn't in it. "Yes, a humdinger of a day," the Kettle tried again. "I suppose you might even call it special?" He peeked at Cuphead out the corner of his eye, but again, Cuphead didn't say a word. He just poured himself a big bowl of mush flakes and sat down at the table next to Mugman. Elder Kettle paced back and forth, stroking his thick gray mustache. He wrinkled up his forehead until his eyebrows clanked together like a pair of colliding spoons. "Gollywompers, it seems like there's something important about today. But for the life of me, I can't remember what it is," he said loudly. "Either of you boys know what it might be?" Poor Elder Kettle. He wasn't just dropping hints, he was tying anchors to them. It was agony. So Cuphead, who was nothing if not compassionate, looked up from his bowl, stared into Elder's desperate, pleading eyes, and said, "Nope." Then he shoved the spoon back into his mouth. "Oh, I know," Mugman said excitedly. "It's your whack." Cuphead kicked his brother under the table. It wasn't a hard kick. It was the kind of kick you gave to someone who's about to spill a very big secret about a very big surprise and make a large number of people very unhappy. Mugman rubbed his leg. "It's, imagination," he finished. "It must be, because as far as I know, this is just another day." He got in Cuphead's message, but still moved to the other side of the table. With a secret this big, you can never tell when another kick might be coming your way. Elder Kettle let out a long, sad sigh. He was always excited about his birthday, and he'd been waiting all morning for someone to wish him well. But his friends hadn't called, the neighbors hadn't stopped by, and now even the boys had forgotten. The corners of his mouth sagged into a frown as he grumpily slid a half-burned flapjack on Cuphead's plate. Oh well, maybe it was just another day. Knock, knock, knock. Or maybe it wasn't. Someone was here. Someone had remembered. Elder Kettle rushed to the door, wondering which wonderful, considerate, thoughtful neighbor had come to see him. As it turned out, it was none of them. It was Hilda Berg. Hilda Berg wasn't a wonderful, considerate, thoughtful neighbor. Hilda Berg was a pest. Elder Kettle tried to hide his disappointment, but it wasn't easy. Hilda was a tough one to like. First of all, she thought she was just a little bit above everyone else on the Isles. True, she was a Zeppelin, and she did live in the sky, but did she have to be so snooty about it? Also, she was perpetually angry. Elder Kettle didn't know why she'd come to see him this morning, but he was sure it wasn't to say happy birthday. "Good morning, Hilda," he said. "Good?" Hilda sneered. "You think this is a good morning?" Oh, what a shock. Her dribbiggleness, I think that's how you say it, wasn't happy. Elder Kettle sighed. "What's the problem?" Hilda glared at him. Her nostrils flared, and her body inflated to the size so large he thought she was going to explode. "The problem," barked Hilda, "is this." She lifted a tightly clenched fist, which was a scary sight on the best of days, and in it was a ball. It was round and white and horseshoe-shaped stitching along the edges, and it looked just like every other ball except for one thing. On the backside, scribbled in large black letters, were the words, "Property of Cuphead." "Yesterday I was tending to my cloud garden, the loveliest in the entire sky, mind you, when this hideous projectile came crashing through it. It completely destroyed my prize-winning Airigolds. She snapped. Airigolds, for anyone who's never seen them, are charming little puffballs made out of the only most heavenly cloud material. Each flower rests on a slender cloud stem with wispy white leaves that flutter gently in the winds, unless, of course, they're smashed by a home run. Elder Kettle scratched his chin. I see, he said. Well, I'm very sorry, Hilda, but I'm sure it was an accident. An accident? It was a tragedy, she cried. Do you have any idea how difficult it is to raise a cloud garden? Each bloom must be coaxed from the delicate mist, then lovingly shaped into a precious form. I've spent weeks perfecting my Airigolds. Then, in one thoughtless instant, that cloud wrecker, her bony, accusing finger pointed straight at Cuphead, who was still at the table. He gave her an apologetic look, and he would have gladly explained to her that he'd made the hint of his life yesterday. The kind that climbs higher and higher, and you think it's never going to come down, but you're still surprised when it doesn't. And he certainly hadn't been aiming at her cloud, but of course, he couldn't tell her that, or anything else, because he had half a flapjack stuffed into his cheeks, and it was impolite to talk with his mouth full. Elder Kettle shook his head. I'll speak with Cuphead, Hilda, he said. See that you do, she told him. That boy is a menace. If he crosses me again, I'll deal with him myself. Elder Kettle bit his lower lip, and a little puff of steam rose out of his spout. He didn't like threats, not first thing in the morning, and definitely not on his birthday. He thought about slamming the door, but of course he didn't. Elder Kettle could never be rude to anyone, not even at Hilda Berg. Good day, Hilda, he said. Good day indeed, she grumbled, and stormed away down the path. Elder Kettle closed the door and walked back to the breakfast table. He raised his disapproving eyebrow at Cuphead, and then set the ball by his breakfast plate. That must have been quite a hit. I'd wish I'd seen it, he said, and smiled. Cuphead smiled back. He was glad Elder Kettle wasn't angry, and even gladder to have his ball back. There was nothing in the world Cuphead loved more than playing ball. Elder Kettle sat in his chair and drummed his fingers on the table. He really shouldn't let Hilda upset him, not on his birthday. He leaned back, picked up the newspaper, and opened it. Hey, I know. What special thing is happening today? Mugman said, and Cuphead's eyes grew to the size of donuts. The carnival is coming. Carnival? Elder Kettle yelled. Mugman nodded. It's right there in the newspaper. Sure enough, on the front page was a big, bold headline that read, Carnival coming to the Inkwell Isles. Elder Kettle frowned. Oh no, not the carnival, not here, he groaned. Not again. His mind drifted back to a time when he was a very young Kettle. It was the last time the carnival had come to the Inkwell Isles. He remembered every sight and sound and scent, but mostly he remembered the clown to be who had approached him the instant he'd walked through the gate. Guess your weight, Sonny? The clown asked in a chillingly spooky voice. Okay, the little Kettle had replied. The clown then lifted him into the air and shook him up and down side to side. I never did guess his weight, but in the process, every coin had fallen out of the Kettle's pockets, and he'd left the carnival without a cent. Elder Kettle told the boys the frightening story. They needed to know. I want you to stay away from that carnival, he said. It's filled with liars and thieves, the boys promised. It's time for school. Go get your things, Elder Kettle said. As Cuphead climbed back up the stairs, he thought about the carnival. He'd heard of carnivals, of course, but he'd never been to one. What were they like? Were they really as bad as Elder Kettle had said? And if they were, why did people go to them? Not that it mattered, since he and Mugman had promised they'd stay away. Besides, if this carnival were any fun at all, the kids at school would be talking about it, and he hadn't heard a word, so it wasn't like he would really be missing out on anything, would he? No, he wouldn't be. Carnivals were bad places, and that's all there was to it. Anyway, tonight he had bigger plans. Much bigger plans. This was going to be the best birthday of Elder Kettle's life. That is the end of chapter 2. Chapter 3, entitled The Bank Job. Cuphead walked into his bedroom. It looked different now. Not at all like the wild wake-up scene from earlier. Everything was back in its place. Well, almost everything. He took the ball Hilda Berg had been nice enough to return. Maybe she wasn't so bad after all. and put it on the high shelf near the bookcase. And as long as he was in the neighborhood, squeal! He grabbed Piggy. Hey, watch it there, the pink ceramic piggy bank squealed. Take it easy, will you? Sorry, Piggy, Cuphead said, shaking him a little so he could hear the coins jingle. Well, I'm not a piñata, you know, so don't get any ideas, the pig said. What are you doing anyways? Cuphead looked around the room to make sure no one was listening. He lowered his voice to a whisper. I'm getting everything ready for... He looked around again. Elder Kettle's birthday party. Birthday party, Piggy yelled. Shh. Will you be quiet? He's going to hear you. So let him hear me. I love birthday parties. When's the happy occasion? Tonight, and you're invited. But it's a surprise, Cuphead said. He turned the pig upside down and shook him again. Hey, stop that. You're making me dizzy. Well, I'm sorry, but I need to get the money out for the present. Money, Piggy gasped. He leaped out of Cuphead's hands and landed on the bed. Suddenly it all made sense. For the past few weeks, Cuphead had been stuffing him with money, fistfuls of it. It was a piggy bank's dream. He was actually full for the first time in his life, and now Cuphead thought he could just come and take it back? Never, Piggy cried. Cuphead rolled his eyes. He'd been afraid this would happen. The gobs of money he and Mugman had been collecting came from Elder Kettle's friends, so they could all go in together on a really nice present, the kind that would make this birthday unforgettable. But Piggy wasn't used to seeing so much money, and now that he'd developed a taste for it, this wasn't going to be easy. Calm down, Piggy. Let's talk this over, Cuphead said. There's nothing to talk about. That money is the official property of the First National Bank of Piggy, which is me. So back off. This was ridiculous. Cuphead was going to be late for school. He leaped onto the bed and made an attempt at a tackle, but Piggy squirmed out of his grasp. Help! Police! Bank robbery! The pig squealed. Piggy jumped off the bed, and Cuphead went after him. As they raced around the room, others joined the chase. The dresser moved in from the right side, while the radio blocked off the left side, and the alarm clock tried to ambush him from above, but the pig was too quick for all of them. Finally, they managed to corner him near the window. Stay away, he warned them. Oh, jeepers, Piggy, be a sport, Cuphead said. I'm going to be late for school. But Piggy crossed his arms and shook his head defiantly. I'm never giving you this money, not 1 red cent, and there's nothing you can do about it. Cuphead frowned. Piggy was greedy and amazingly stubborn. This could take all day, but maybe there's another way. Okay, I believe you. You're never going to give me the money. But what if I trade you something for it? He asked. Trade, Piggy said. Trade what? Cuphead pulled a yellow flower out of a pot on the windowsill. Piggy's eyes widened. Is that is it a what? Cuphead asked innocently. He held the flower out and wiggled it against Piggy's nose. Get that thing away from me. Why, does it bother you? He wiggled it again. No fair, Piggy groaned. You know that I'm allergic to He scrunched up his face and put a finger under his snout. Rhododendrous. Achoo! The sneeze shook the room like 1,000 alakablam firecrackers bursting at once. When it was over, money floated down from above like freshly minted snowflakes. Cuphead quickly scooped it all up and stuffed it in his pocket. Thanks, Piggy, he said. See you at the party. Then he grabbed his books, slid down the staircase banister, and ran out the front door with Mugman. Remember what I told you? Elder Kettle called after them. Stay away from that carnival. Thus concludes Chapter 3. Have a good day.